Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the Corpacq Stadium in Sale. I'm Chris Malaband, and welcome to full coverage of this afternoon's Alliance Premier 15s match between the Sale Sharks women and the Worcester Warriors women. Well, it's a wet and grey day in South Manchester, but two teams who will look upon this afternoon as an opportunity to really pick up the points. Sale in 9th place, improving game on game, having picked up that losing bonus point at Gloucester Hartpury last weekend. Worcester, having had a 2-week break from their last match action, well, they've notched up one win so far against Durham DMP Sharks and come here with the return of a couple of their England stars, Laura Keats, who picks up the captain's armband, and Alex Matthews. Sale 2 are strengthened this afternoon with the return of Katie Daly-McLean from England duty and also the return of Mari Grieve and Gwen Pears. So it's all set for hopefully an entertaining 70 minutes of rugby as two teams square up to each other in round 6 of the Alliance Premier 15s. Well, through the afternoon, we're lucky to have a number of special guests joining us on the broadcast. So we're going to hear later on from Mark Luffman, the England forwards coach. But between now and kick-off at 2:30, we're very fortunate to be joined by our first special guest of the afternoon, and that's Emily Lyles, who is the England women's team communications manager. And Emily's kindly giving us a few minutes of her time just to give us a feel of the England camp right now. Good afternoon, Emily.
Good afternoon, Chris. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Coping in this miserable November day in Manchester, Emily. It's a proper old school winter's rugby day here. It's grey, it's wet, there's a bit of wind, but hey, that's how we love it. So
I was going to say, I can see that on my screen there, Chris, and it certainly looks like the perfect day for rugby.
Yes, we'll have to see, Emily, how the teams get on with the handling this afternoon. The rain is abated for now, but it's a fairly steady drizzle as we made our way into the ground. But I'm sure both teams will be absolutely ready to adapt with whatever's thrown at them. Comfortable in these conditions in the middle of the winter. But Emily, I'm sure many people listening to our broadcast this afternoon through Facebook or YouTube or on Twitter will have been glued to their televisions last weekend and that heroic get out of jail win for the England women's team against France. You have the privilege of working with the team day in, day out. Just give us a flavour of how that dressing room was at full time.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant, Chris. To be honest with you, it was quite interesting because you probably might have seen from the TV coverage, there almost looked like there were sort of mixed reactions. I mean, you had players that have the full 80 minutes that were absolutely shattered, and then those that had sort of just played the final 20 that were really buoyed and enthusiastic about it. But I can assure you that certainly when they got back to the dressing room, when they'd reflected on it properly, there was a lot of excitement, and obviously they were pleased, but ultimately knew that they'd been in a game. And I know a number of the players know the French girls particularly well, especially as in recent years they've played them so many times, and there are a lot of conversations afterwards, you know, a lot of commiserations, a lot of mutual respect between the two sides, and that was something that certainly came about. Yeah, I think relief all around in the first instance, but then when you reflect on the autumn period overall, it was pretty much a very, very good job done.
Well, absolutely, Emily. Of course, the victory in Italy, taking England to the Grand Slam and the Six Nations title, and then those two wins against France, returning the team to the #1 rating in the world. Just give us a feel of the mood in the camp right now. Is it one of joy and confidence, or is there a feeling there that the team don't want to become complacent with the World Cup about 9 months away?
I think there's probably a mix, really, Chris, to be honest with you. I mean, just to touch on the other two games, I know you asked me about the France home game last week, but, you know, you look at Italy, obviously everyone was delighted that they had the opportunity to go there and get the job done, because I think not being able to complete the Six Nations would have been a real shame for all the players and staff that were involved. So that was brilliant. The celebrations were probably a little bit more muted if you compare it to previous Six Nations Grand Slam victories for obvious reasons, but they still certainly made the most of it. The players' families dialed in over Zoom back at the hotel, so they were able to sort of join in those celebrations, as well as some of the staff that have now moved on to pastures new but were involved in the first 4 games earlier on in the year.
Ah, great.
The likes of Morwenna Torning and Helena Rowland were, of course, presented with their first caps, and that took place after the game. Simon Middleton gave them their caps, and of course their parents were able to see that, albeit over Zoom virtually. So that was a really, really special occasion, and I think was a real good a really good bonding exercise for the group. Similarly, the France away game, as you know, Katie Daly-McLean, who you guys know very well up there in Sale, sat out of that one, and it was an opportunity for Helena Rowland to start the game. It's always a big game in France. It's always a massive occasion. I know, certainly from my experience there, the atmospheres are incredible. Of course, we didn't have the fans there that time, unfortunately, but it still didn't take away from what was a really, really good contest. Again, that one was on the BBC, which was a real plus point for us. And again, really, I think we've been able to, it's been a tricky period in that the team have a number of injuries, a number of key players were missing that I guess would have played a part earlier on in the year and in previous seasons. But we've also seen players come into the fold and really step up. Katie, of course, last week then came back, captained the side, earned her 116th cap, became the outright all-time England cap holder. So I think all in all, there's a real feel-good factor. But as you say, it's important not to be complacent. A year out from the World Cup now, big challenges to come next year. And all in all, I think job well done, but always room for improvement.
And looking ahead to that World Cup now, Emily, the draw has been made. England are in a group with South Africa, Fiji and France, of course, who they've now beaten 7 times in a row. The World Cup will be held in the Southern Hemisphere for the first time in New Zealand. The holders, of course, next September. When can the squad start to kind of turn their eyes towards that? Or is Simon Middleton's perspective much more that there's a lot of work to be done then and they'll only start thinking about the World Cup a lot nearer to that point?
It's a really good question. I think everything that they've been doing, even this year, albeit understandably it's been very fragmented in terms of plans changing, etc., with opposition that they were going to play. I think ultimately, okay, obviously you go into the Six Nations, you want to win the Six Nations, you're going to the Six Nations next year, which now is only in about 5 or 6 weeks' time, which is a turnaround.
Absolutely.
And of course, again, the aim will be to be successful in that. But ultimately, and I know from sort of personal conversations with Simon Middleton and the squad, there has been an eye on being ready for that World Cup for a while. So as you say, although you are focused on what you're doing at this moment, I think ultimately all the work that's going in, whether it's games, whether it's tournaments, whether it's just, the odd 2-day training camp, ultimately it's looking ahead to that World Cup. And as you alluded to there, the draw, which I have to say, I thought was absolutely fantastic. I thought World Rugby and New Zealand did a brilliant job, especially during these times, where things have to go into a more virtual setting for most of the world, as it were.
Yes.
Was absolutely brilliant. And of course, France, we know very, very well. There was a nice little exchange actually when we were undertaking the post-match media last Saturday at Twickenham between Anik, the France head coach, and Simon Middleton, who both said to each other, well, we've already got 2 dates in the diary for next season, during the Six Nations, and we'll see you at the World Cup. So that was nice. And of course, Fiji and South Africa, 2 slightly different propositions. I think we're obviously very familiar with them in a 7s capacity, less so in 15s. And I think all in all, we're in for a really exciting year and an exciting tournament. Certainly, if that draw was anything to go by, it's going to be absolutely brilliant.
And in terms of participation, Emily, and how many girls and women are playing rugby now, we know that the viewing figures for the 2 French internationals put together came to about 1.9 million, which was really, really encouraging. But what kind of visibility have you got from an RFU perspective of where we're up to with participation right now?
Chris, it's really, really positive, and it's certainly growing all the time. And I know certainly from an RFU point of view, the general feeling and consensus is a strong women's and girls game, both at the grassroots and at the professional level, is actually the key to a strong game overall, men's, women's, girls, boys, everything. And just to give you sort of an idea of where we are, I guess, from a sort of stats numbers point of view, currently there's 40,000 women and girls that are registered in over 400 clubs nationwide, which if you compare that to a year ago, there were 37,000. And if you go back to 2012, there were 13,000. So the growth there in, 8 years, reasonably short period of time, has been pretty big, really. And obviously there's various sort of programs and initiatives that are taking place that contribute to that. I know we've had a chat about this in the past, but the Inner Warrior camps, for example, which are, for anyone that isn't aware, are a series of rugby fitness training camps for women, which are run by clubs across the country, designed, I guess, primarily for fitness and from a social perspective, but to introduce women to rugby, mainly for those that haven't played before or maybe have been out the game for a while. And so we've now got 23,000 women that have taken part in those since 2016, which is absolutely brilliant. We've got 10,000 approximately female 10,000 female touch players across the country. I guess in terms of, you know, the youngsters, the girls, 90,000 girls are taking part in schools, colleges, universities at the moment. 80,000 teenage girls have been a part of the All Schools programme, which, again, for anyone that's not aware, yeah, it is phenomenal.
Terrific
actually.
Numbers.
When you break down the numbers, yeah. So that was something for anyone that's not aware, which was launched in 2012 as part of one of the legacy strands for the 2015 World Cup. So it was implemented in 2012 and then sort of kick-started post 2015. And again, the aim of that programme was to just encourage senior schools, state schools to play rugby union, get both boys and girls involved. And obviously now there's 80,000 teenage girls that have been through that, which is absolutely brilliant.
Excellent. Well, Emily, really encouraging to hear such a positive story around participation and all the different programmes. And if you didn't catch what Emily referred to, the Inner Warrior programme, give that a Google. And if you've not had the chance to explore that and get involved, it's well worth looking into. But Emily, thank you so much for joining us today. Really positive to hear things are going well, both at grassroots participative level and also for the national team. And I'm sure we'll grab you again in a few weeks' time if you'll have us and get you back onto Sale Sharks Live. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris. Absolute pleasure. Have a good game this afternoon.
Thank you, Emily. Emily Lyles there, who is the England Women's Rugby Communications Manager, joining us on Sale Sharks Live ahead of this afternoon's match against the Worcester Warriors. And if you're just joining in to the coverage, you can see there on the screen how brightly the diodes shine on our scoreboard here at the Corpacq Stadium. It is a grey and wet South Manchester day, but two teams who will be itching to get the points this afternoon next to each other in the table. Sale 9th against Worcester 8th. The players are due to emerge in just a moment. Let's check in on the teams this afternoon. Well, Sale coach Darren Lamon takes 4 changes from the side who were beaten by Gloucester Hartpury last weekend and makes a further 3 positional adjustments to his starting 15. Here is the Sale team in full. Lauren Delaney is at fullback. Alex Wallace and Lisa Newman are on the wings. Alicia Carlton and Laura Perrin are paired in the centre. Katie Daly-McLean returns at fly half, Jess Wooden dropping to the bench, and Mari Grieve is back following a work commitment last weekend. She plays at scrum half. Jess Roberts moves to the bench. Gwen Peers also returns to the front row after injury last week. Her and Aisha Abu-Mazouk are the props, with Scarlett Fielding hooking. Teleri Wynne-Davis and Nicola Howard are the locks. Lucy Winter-Hannafield and Beth Stafford, the captain, form the back row. The bench for Sale: Freya Helen, Katie Horton, Georgia Kyle, Daisy Hibbert-Jones, Georgie Perris-Redding, Jess Roberts, Vicky Irwin and Jess Wooden. Worcester Warriors coach Jo Yap makes 5 changes from her team last time out, and the Warriors line up like this. Abby Kershaw is at fullback, Paige Farries and Vicky Laughlin on the wings, Vicky Foxwell and Jade Shackels in the centre. Katie Mattinson's at scrum half, Sarah Nicholas wears number 10. Flo Long and Laura Keats are in the front row, Keats returning from England duty to captain the side. Carmen Tremeling is the hooker. Cara Brincat and Elizabeth Shermer are at lock. Alex Matthews returns from England duty to pack down at number 6, coming in for Joe Brown. Alex Callender is on the open side, and Shoned Harries is the number 8. The bench for the Worcester Warriors: Hannah Stevens, Carol Thomas, Amelia Buckland-Hurry, Taz Bricknell, Joe Brown, Megan Varley, Hannah Bluck and Zoe Healy. And Worcester Warriors making their way out onto the field today in their change strip of all light green with white trim. Sale, as ever, will be in all dark blue. Worcester, of course, with a similar kit, needing to make the change for this afternoon to ensure that referee Charlie Gaither knows exactly who's who. Now, we're hopeful of grabbing a word just before kick-off with Sale coach Darren Lamont, and it looks like Carrie Morris is ready to do just that now. Here is Carrie with Sale coach Darren Lamont. Looks like
Hi Darren, you must be pretty eager for a win in this game today, so it's quite a big, momentous game for you.
Yeah.
What were the final words you gave to the women in the changing room before you just came out?
Yeah, it's rugby. Yeah, let's have some fun. Let's fling it about a bit. Just remember where we're at and hopefully get a performance. Let's click some stuff, really. Let's take things from the last few games and give it a go again now.
And how are they feeling? Confident?
Yeah, good, great group of girls. Real confident, excited, and just, again, really privileged to be playing rugby in today's times. And yeah, go out, play for each other, play for the club, and give it a crack.
Brilliant, thank you. And
All
best of
right,
luck.
cheers.
With Carrie Morris, our touchline reporter this afternoon, as the players take the knee. Our referee this afternoon, as I mentioned, Charlie Gaither, with Elliot Lewis and Kieran Henry running touch. And Worcester will kick us off this afternoon. The Warriors with their one victory against the Durham DMP Sharks. Sale, of course, with that one losing bonus point to their names so far in defeat last weekend at Gloucester Hartpury, a match that Sale led at half-time before a comeback from the home side in the second half. Disappointment for Sale, but much credit from coach Lamont to the performance of his side. Straight away, a knock-on to begin the afternoon, which will lead to a Worcester Warriors free kick and a tap taken by Katie Mattinson straight away. Immediate defending for Sale to do on their 22-metre line. Mattinson feeds Nicholas, and immediate opportunity for Mattinson to probe from the base of the ruck. Nicholas again, nearing the Sale 22. Mattinson. Breaking half through goes Flo Long. Decent early phases this from the Warriors. Now it's Callender. Alex Callender making good ground up the right-hand side. Sale with defending to do here. But a knock-on in the tackle gives Sale the opportunity for a bit of relief from a free kick. Good afternoon to Ollie Lathrop.
Good afternoon, Chris. And a decent start there from the Warriors. The Sharks not very good off that restart, and they had their first chance of the game, did the visitors, but good defence there from Sale. Went through their defensive sets early, and they'll be pleased to clear this away through Katie Daly-McLean.
And Daly-McLean doesn't manage to find touch. It's a mistake from the Sale fly half from that first opportunity to relieve some field position, and a chance for Worcester to take an early advantage. Bursting through goes Sinead Harries, but a shrill blast from referee Gator. It's going to give Sale a penalty, and Daly-McLean will get a second opportunity to relieve a bit of pressure.
Well, Darren Lamb will be delighted with that, Chris. 2 chances for Worcester to break into the Sale 22, and the Sharks have done really well. The turnover there coming from the penalty, and we saw when we were here a few weeks ago, it was Sale who couldn't convert their chances, but so far it's been Worcester, and a real chance here for the Sharks with their first line out to try and get some territory.
So first throw of the afternoon for Scarlett Fielding, the former England under-18. Developed her rugby on the Wirral with Caldy and Birkenhead Park, one of a number of the Sale players who joined from Furwood Waterloo in the summer. And first throw of the afternoon is a successful one, and Grieve can get the ball moving through the back lines. Wyn Davis, who stood out of the line out, cropping up in midfield to punch a hole. And this is an encouraging start for Sale. Some good handling, taking them up to the Worcester 10-metre line, but Grieve not able to hold on. Knock-on coming, and a free kick which gives Katie Mattinson the chance to clear downfield. It's not going to go out of play. And the chance for Lauren Delaney to clear. And the Irish international manages to do that, to take play back up to the 10-metre line.
I think we've seen so far, Chris, how much the conditions are going to make a difference today. 3 knock-ons already, and we're going to see that through all the game, I think. The team's trying to get a grasp on these conditions, and as we get into winter rugby, we're going to see this more often. But the team that can hold on to the ball better and get the ball going through the hands will win today.
Carmen Tremeling's first throw of the afternoon, in for Caris Phillips at hooker today for the Worcester Warriors. Phillips out injured, which means Laura Keats, number 3, is the skipper for the visitors. But from that line out, Cara Brincat not able to hold on, a knock on, and just to make Ollie Lathrope's point even more clearly, the greasy ball in these wet conditions looks like it's going to be tricky for both sides. Mari Grieve then with the tap for Sale. Short to Gwen Peers, the Welsh international, back from injury for the Sharks today. Daly McLean then pops the ball on the burst to Hannah Field. Good yardage made from Field. Try scorer last week for the Sharks. And now is an opportunity for Sale to burst through. Scarlett Fielding. Fielding finds the right pass. Now then, can they put it away? Sadly not. It all looks so promising as Scarlett Fielding burst through. Laura Perrin and Alex Wallace outside her. But unfortunately, Sale's handling, letting them down. I'll get Ollie Lathrope's thoughts on that in just a moment, but it's a immediate clearance from the Warriors. Chance for Lauren Delaney to make really good ground. Great progress from Delaney. The pass inside though doesn't get a hand. It's gone forward, and we'll head to another Worcester free kick. Frenetic stuff, Ollie.
It has been frenetic, Chris, and we saw that again there. What Sale can do, they managed to break the initial tackle, but the offload probably came at the wrong time. It would have been much better just to take contact in that situation. And if you are watching, very quickly, do get your messages in. We'll be reading them out throughout the game, as we did a couple of weeks ago when we were here for the Bristol game. So get them in and we'll give you a shout out.
Absolutely. All social media channels are open. So if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, we're very happy to have your inputs, your thoughts. Particularly give us your feedback. If anything that Emily Lyles covered in her interview before the show is something you'd like to pick up on, either from a participation point of view or related to the England setup, let us know. And throughout the game, of course, give us your reaction to the play as you watch with us at home. And if there are teams keen to encourage new members, whether that's girls rugby, women's or even the men's, of course, please do get in touch and we will try and give you as much publicity as we can during today's 70-minute game. Don't forget, 35 minutes each way as part of the coronavirus controls. Worcester in possession again. No score after 6 minutes here at the Corpacq Stadium. But once more, referee Charlie Gator on his whistle. And it's going to be a Sale penalty. Not kickable this in terms of the posts, Ollie, for Katie Daly-McLean, but a chance to get some good territory for her side.
Well, I think Katie Daly-McLean will be very happy to put Worcester back in their own half here. It's going to be a day for territory, I think, Chris, with the conditions. The team that can kick well and chase well and not make the mistakes will definitely have a good opportunity to win this one as we go to some first messages of the day, Chris. So Paul Berridge says, come on, Sale. Kai Newman, go Sharks, bite, fingers crossed, and wishing all the best from Valencia in Spain. Hope you're enjoying our coverage today, wherever you are watching the game too. Peter Bradbury, come on, Sale. Andy Sharps, go strong Sharks, and Jimmy Mackey, come on Sharkettes. So plenty of messages out there for Chris, showing support for Sale Sharks, and wherever you're watching today's game, do get in touch with us.
Sale on the move again. Daly-McLean popping it short in the midfield. Sale trying to tie in some of the Worcester cover. Grieve goes again. Strong tackle coming in there from Alex Matthews, showing her international class in stemming the progress on that occasion. Daly-McLean looks to go for the crossfield kick now then. Can she find Hannah Field? Here is Hannah Field. Tremendous attempt from an inside pass from Hannah Field. Has that gone forward? I think it might have done. The idea was right. The execution not just quite there. And no chance to get that into the hands of Alex Wallace. But nice invention from Katie Daly-McLean at 10, Ollie.
Well, it was on, wasn't it, Chris? Katie Daly-McLean tried this a few weeks ago when we were here for the Bristol game. She likes to use the crossfield kick, and it almost worked there. And Hannah Field tried the offload back on the inside, but it didn't quite go to hand. But that's a nice idea from Sal and Katie Daly-McLean, and the execution wasn't quite there. But encouraging signs so far. It's certainly been the Sharks on the front foot since that early couple of minutes for Worcester at the start of the game. But I'm sure Darren Lamman would be delighted with how this is going so far.
Good clearing kick there from Daly-McLean again. Managing to make a clean catch from the Worcester clearance and then return the ball with interest to just outside the Worcester 22. No score then here at the Corpacq Stadium. We threw the first 8 minutes between Sale Sharks and the Worcester Warriors. Can Sale try and disrupt this line-out throw from Carmen Tremeling? Hannah Field trying to plot the downfall of the Worcester throw, and Sale have managed to steal the throw. Good opportunity here for Mari Grieve to set up from the base. Grieve Fed short. Opportunity for Wyn Davies to burst through once more. Grieve to Daly McLean, looking to try and bring in Laura Perrin. Couldn't quite make the connection on that occasion, but Sale still in possession. Perrin thinks about the dummy. Decent phases from Sale, just trying to break the gain line, but a really strong tackle coming in there from Jade Shekels on Gwen Peers. But here goes Wallace down the right wing. Good ball inside, but not quite to hand from Alex Wallace. And again, Sale just a pass or two away, it seems, from getting away, but once more not able to finish. And once more, Sarah Nicholas goes quickly with the restart. Barely a moment for either side to settle in these opening stages. Here's Lauren Delaney with the chip and chase. Can she get onto her own kick? Yes, she can. Excellent work from the Irish woman at full-back. Grieve stands over the ruck. Spins it to Nicola Howard. Once more, the Worcester defence is good at first phase. Grieve. Daly McLean. Field once more in the line, does well to ensure Sale maintain possession. At the breakdown now then, Fielding taking the pop pass, was almost through for a moment. Sale continue to press. Good work from Lucy Winter. But Worcester have turned it over in the tackle. Here it goes Alex Callender, but she's not able to hold on either. And Charlie Gator coming back for the original infringement. It's going to be a Worcester penalty.
Got some more shout-outs, Chris, while there's an injury. Charlie Rumsey, go on Sale. Justine Shaw, come on Sharks, this one's yours. Paul Windram, go Sale from Manchester Rugby Girls. Darcy Price, come on Sale from Trafford Moden Park Women's. So plenty of people out there shouting out for the Sharks today. If you are a Sharks or Worcester fan, do get in touch with us. We'll try and read out your messages as we go through the afternoon.
Yes, always great to hear from fans of both sides. So if the Worcester Warriors fans joining the coverage as we have this short drinks break, 11 minutes into play, please do get in touch with us. There is a plan later in the season for the Sale Sharks women to play at the AJ Bell on the same day as the men's team. I think that's a date in the new year, I think in late February time, for the home game against the DMP Durham Sharks, when the men's team are playing London Irish on the same day. And here's hoping, Ollie, we might have fans back in the stadium by that point. It's looking encouraging, isn't it? If not necessarily right here at the moment because of the tiering.
Well, I think it's coming, Chris, isn't it? A couple of places around the country are now allowed fans. If you're in Tier 2, you can have up to 2,000 fans into your games. Unfortunately, Manchester falls into Tier 3 at the minute. But hopefully it won't be too long, Chris. New Year, hopefully maybe get some fans in. Be great to have a couple of thousand here for the matches in the new year.
And it's been great to read on the Worcester Warriors women's Twitter feed that Worcester are going to look to allow up to 2,000 fans in next Sunday, the 6th of December, for their match against Gloucester Hartpury. So if you are in the Worcester area, that looks like it might be your first opportunity in a while to get into the fresh air again of a weekend and see some live sport. I know it's been difficult for so many of us for so long, but hopefully now, with small steps, the opportunity to have fans back in stadia is returning. We're behind closed doors, of course, this afternoon here at the Corpacq Stadium. We do, though, have Mark Luffman in the ground. He's the England women's forwards coach, and Mark's going to come and join us at half-time to give his expert eye over the first half and talk to us a little bit more about England's progress. So if you've got any questions for Mark Luffman, the England forwards coach, please do feel free to send them in via social media, and we will try and put those to Mark when he joins us in around about 25 minutes' time. Worcester line out then, just inside the Sale 10-metre line. Tremelling the hooker will be looking for Brincat or Shermer, her second rose, and it's a good catch at the front from Cara Brincat, who can also operate in the back row, who sets Worcester on their way again, but that's a knock-on from Alex Matthews, who has featured in all three of England's internationals in the last few weeks, but on that occasion not able to hold on as she tried to burst through the cover. It'll be a Sale free kick. And possession is handed straight back to Worcester from that knock-on. But for now, referee Gator playing the advantage to try and let the game flow a bit. If you are wondering why we're not having scrums when knock-ons occurring, this is all part of the coronavirus risk management. And you'll see tapped free kicks in their place. Sale scrapping at the breakdown. And despite the protestations of Katie Mattinson, Charlie Gator giving that one in Sale's favour. And it's going to be a penalty to the Sharks just inside their half, but we will have, I think, perhaps a little bit of a delay here while medical staff attend to the Worcester player who is down at the moment. Ollie.
Some more messages coming in, Chris. Loads of you getting involved on social media. Message from Wales, Go Sharks, from Ruth Morris. And a happy birthday message for Jacob Wilkins, who turns 9 this week, who plays for Bowden RUFC. Go Sale, looking forward to coming down to Hayward Road. Well, happy birthday to you, Jacob. We hope to see you down here in the new year.
Absolutely. Always a great place to celebrate a birthday, coming to some live sport and seeing your heroes in action at first hand. Another opportunity for the Sale players to have a bit of a conflab and discuss how it's been going so far. Ollie, what do you think some of the messages might be in that Sale huddle at the moment?
I think it's just going to be cleaning up the errors, Chris. There's been so many in this opening 15 minutes from both sides. No one's been able to get any go forward, and defences have been on top, as you would expect in conditions like this. And it's been quite telling as well, actually. When we were here for the Bristol game, from those free kicks, teams were keeping it in hand because it was quite a mild day, quite a nice day to play rugby. But we've seen a lot of kicks from these free kicks, trying to pin the opposition back in their own half, because it might be an easier day not to have the ball, I think.
Yes, that's the the challenge of playing with a greasy ball. Floodlights on here at the Corpacq Stadium right from the start. It is very grey and dank, but the one benefit from a kicking perspective for Katie Daly-McLean and Lauren Delaney in particular from a Sale perspective, and Sarah Nicholas and Abby Kershaw for Worcester, is that the wind isn't too strong. It is, though, wet, and the ball will get wetter, you think, as the game continues. Certainly no sign of the rain stopping at the moment. Just a reminder of who's playing who today. Exeter are up against Wasps. That was a 1 o'clock kick-off, so we'll bring you the result of that very shortly. Bristol against Saracens was a 2 o'clock kick-off. Loughborough against the DMP Durham Sharks, also at 2, and kicking off at 2:30, as well as this game, Gloucester Hartpury against Harlequins. Harlequins and Saracens, of course, both with 100% records so far in the Alliance Premier 15 so far this season, really setting the pace at the top of the table, with Loughborough snapping at their heels. And just to remind you, if you joined us late, the Sale changes this afternoon from the team who were beaten at Gloucester. Jess Roberts moves to the bench, Mari Grieve replacing her at scrum half. Katie Daly-McLean's back in at fly half, with Jess Wooden dropping to the bench. Molly Kelly has a work commitment today, which means Scarlett Fielding is hooking, and Gwen Pers returns from injury to replace Katie Horton at prop. And I think with Mari Grieve, who is a vet for a living, Ollie, and Molly Kelly, who's got a work commitment today, unavailable last week and this week respectively, I think it's just worth reminding all the viewers today that the vast majority of the players they're watching this afternoon all have full-time jobs, and rugby is a hard-fought hobby which they try and play obviously at the maximum professional level, but have always got to work around their work commitments.
Absolutely, Chris. And during these tough times, it's great to be able to come down here and watch these games, and great for everyone watching at home to be able to watch on the streams. And we've had a few more messages come in from people watching the stream from both Sale and Worcester fans. From Chris at Amiga Photography, can we turn the heating up, please? Freezing this end. Well, we agree with you. It's absolutely
chilly.
Bitter here, isn't it? From Worcester, Florence Long, come on Worcester. Linda Buckton, Sale ladies, look before you pass, looking positive if you keep possession. Certainly that's the case, Linda. Keeping the ball in hand here will be crucial today. Nicola Burrows, go Sharks. Robin Southern, come on Sale. And another message from Worcester, Thalia Hopkins, come on Worcester. So we've got people, fans of both clubs watching today. Chris, it's great to see so many people engaging with the stream. Make sure you get in touch with us if you want us to read out your message throughout the rest of this first half.
Yes, please do keep in touch. Elizabeth Shermer, unfortunately, looks like she'll play no further part this afternoon as she gingerly makes her way to the touchline. So an enforced change for the Worcester Warriors after 12 minutes of this first half. 12 minutes played then here at the Corpacq Stadium as we get underway again. Katie Daly-McLean looking to make a sure touch, which she does, on the Worcester 22. And it's Amelia Buckland-Hurry who comes off the bench for the Worcester Warriors to replace Elizabeth Sherman, so she'll drop in to the second row. Former England Academy player who's also featured for the Barbarians. Sail throw is cleanly executed. Scarlett Fielding going well in the line out so far. Can Mari Grieve force her way through? She's hauled down by Cara Brincat on the 22. Field drops in at scrum half and spins the ball to Laura Perrin, and Sail look to punch holes once more. Grieve. Hannah Field once more linking play. Grieve again. Now it's Gwen Pears on the burst, but once more the ball going to ground. Another knock on. And Sail's attack comes to an end. And Sarah Nicholas continuing in the vein she's played for the opening minutes of this game, which is to try and take these free kicks quickly and hammer them downfield to try and force Lauren Delaney and Alex Wallace to turn, make as much yardage as she can for Worcester, and on that occasion shifting play a good 40 metres forward, but Sail in possession once more. Grieve to Daly McLean. Field's pop pass inside is dropped by Nicola Howard, and Worcester have the advantage and can suddenly get away. Opportunity here for the Warriors. Sinead Harries on the burst, but a shrill blast from referee Gator. Multiple knock-ons, first by Sail, then by Worcester. We'll go back for the free kick to the Warriors.
Sinead Harries burst through there, Chris, off the back of that mistake from Sail, and it looked as if she was going towards the line, but we'll come back for the advantage. But again, errors costing Sail in their own 22. You looking to keep hold of the ball, but that's perhaps not the best option today, and a chance here for Warriors to finally get some points on the scoreboard.
Good work from the bright blonde hair of Alex Matthews, once more making a yard at the breakdown, but penalised. And referee Gate has been a busy man, Ollie, in the first 15 minutes.
There's been plenty of knock-ons, hasn't there, Chris? We said before the game when we were speaking that the team that could keep hold of the ball most would probably win today, and that will still be the case. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring affair that we saw a couple of weeks ago for the Bristol game. So it's going to be all about territory and making sure you don't make any mistakes. And so far, both sides have coughed up possession when they've had the ball, and that'll be something they're looking to improve on as the game goes on. Is we'll bring in some more shout-outs here from Alex Ward, come on Sale from Stockport RUFC, Lucy Mary, some great work from Sale so far, plenty of improvement from Sedgley Park ladies team. Rob Hughes, delighted to be playing at Sale today and enjoying the game. Come on Warriors, come on. Fiona Collett, let's go Sharks, today is the day. So more of you getting your messages in, that's great. And if you do want to get yourself shouted out on the stream, do get in touch with us and we'll see if we can give you a shout out.
Thank you, Ollie. Right, first scrum of the afternoon. On the Sale 22, Sale front row of Piers, Fielding and Abu Marzouk up against Flo Long, Carmen Tremeling and Laura Keats, the Worcester captain, who was away from international rugby for 3 years before featuring in that last gasp win against France last weekend. Almost 50 caps for Keats, so one of the star players to look out for in this afternoon's game, number 3 for the Warriors. Sinead Harries at the back has got a good drive on from number 8, and this is a very powerful scrum for Worcester. The penalty is coming, and there is the penalty, and real dominance in the tight from the Worcester pack there, and Sale under a lot of pressure.
An excellent scrummage there from the Warriors, Chris. We don't see as many scrums with the current law variations, but when you do get one, if you can get the shove on, it can really aid to what the team's trying to do, and Warriors have got the chance here. They're 5 metres out, and a real opportunity here for the visitors to get some points on the board.
Vicky Foxwell makes no mistake in securing touch, and the first real pressure on the Sale try line now. We'll be looking to disrupt this line out. Can Nicola Howard or Hilary Wynne Davis perhaps disrupt the throw? Tremelling to throw in, and it's a tremendous piece of work at the front from Nicola Howard. Really superb from the Scottish international. Intercepted the throw and managed to hang on. Terrific play from Howard, and gives Sale the chance to potentially make a clean exit here. Grieve elects to kick herself. Pitched up by Paige Farries, the Canadian international on the right wing today for Worcester. Now the Warriors come again with Foxwell. Mattinson. Short to Matthews. Referee Gaither having a good look at that one. And on this occasion, holding on is given against Alex Matthews. And a really good defensive effort from Sale Ollie to clear that danger. And now the chance for Katie Daly-McLean to launch the Sharks downfield.
Well, initially it was a brilliant take in the line-out from Nicola Howard to steal the ball when Worcester were 5 metres out from the Sale line. The Warriors regained possession, but again, Sale did well at the breakdown. Lucy Winter turning the ball over there, and now they've got the chance with a line-out in the Worcester half. So all change here, and again, we're seeing how important it is to take your chances. Both sides have been up in the opposition 22s, but no points yet.
Sensible from Scarlett Fielding to use the opportunity to dry the ball before her throw. Halfway through the first half then, just under 17.5 minutes till half time. Still no points on the board. It's been hard fought and frenetic, but neither side yet able to punch a hole in the other's defence. But Ollie, as we saw, switching codes in the Super League Grand Final last night, you don't need necessarily to see points to have an exciting game of rugby.
You certainly don't, Chris, and that was an unbelievable game, a finish that, you know, you don't expect to see, but wow, what a game that was. And this could develop into something like that. You can get a lot of low-scoring games. They can be the best of games. We see that a lot. So this one's bubbling up nicely as we have a break in play. We can give some more shout-outs. Gary Rolls, thank you for Sale for streaming this game. However, come on Worcester. Chris, shout-out to Sale Shark women's player, Gwen Pers, as it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Gwen. Hopefully you can get Sale a win on your birthday. Sarah Perris, Pez Red Team cheering Sale on from Nantwich, come on Sale. Stu Winter, come on Warriors. Donna Callender, come on Worcester Warriors women, watching from Conneffley, supporting my daughter Alex Callender, let's go Warriors. So a mixture on the stream today, Chris, which is what we like to see.
Always good to have support for players from both sides. Did I hear you said the Pez Red Army, was it? Is that the supporters of presumably Georgie and India Perris-Redding, who, congratulations to India, made her debut for the Sale Sharks last weekend?
I presume so, Chris. Yeah, there's no indication, but it does sound like that.
Good to hear. Nantwich Rugby Club, I think it was. So hi to everyone who is on the stream today, particularly if you have been able to watch this with friends and colleagues at your local rugby club. I'm guessing many are tuning in at home or perhaps via mobile devices on the move, but great to have support for all of the players. Sale Sharks in their first season, of course, in the Alliance Premier 15s competition and developing their rhythm and gelling as a team in these early weeks of the season, hoping today might be their first victory. Although, interestingly, listening to Hannah Field's interview a couple of days before this game, she was saying they were still more focused on the process and the performance, and if the result came, great, but still very much about just building that cohesion and building the quality of play in the team and seeing if the result can ultimately be the outcome of that. Well, so far, Sale very competitive this afternoon against Worcester Warriors. No score as yet, as good clearing kick from Sarah Nicholas takes the Warriors back to the sanctuary of the halfway line.
We'll go to some more messages, Chris. Robin Southern says, if we can get 2,000 fans into the Corpacq Stadium, we're bouncing for the ladies. Can't wait to get down and support. And we can't wait to have you down here, Robin. It would be great in the new year if we could get 2,000 fans in here to watch Sale Sharks women, and I'm sure they would appreciate all your support as well.
I'm sure it's only just a matter of time before we can get fans back in here again. If you're not familiar with the stadium, you can see the stand on the far side of the shot. That's the main stand here at Sale, which is sadly, of course, sparsely populated today. But the Richard Tricky stand will be hopefully populated, at least half full in a few weeks' time. That's the main stand here at this ground. There is the Jim Birtle stand, which you can't see from the shot. That's where Katie, our camera woman, is filming today's play from. That's a terraced area. And then you can see there's open standing behind the posts to which Sale are attacking, where all the cars are parked and the scoreboard stands. But it's a nice place to come and spend 70 minutes, and hopefully many of you will be able to do that in the coming, if not weeks, certainly months. Sale on the move again with Nicola Howard on the halfway line. 15 minutes to play in this first half. Still no score at the Corpacq Stadium. Once more, it's a scrap at the breakdown, and Sale getting the decision on that occasion from referee Gator, and having the opportunity to try and once more put some pressure on. Going to have a scrum on this occasion. Now, in the previous scrum, Ollie, it was very much Worcester in the ascendancy. Important for Sale to stamp their mark here and ensure they're not going backwards again.
Well, the Sharks front row wouldn't have enjoyed that last scrum, Chris. They're on the back foot and were getting pushed towards their own line, so they want to try and get themselves back on the front foot in this scrum and try and give the likes of Katie Daly-McLean some quick ball, some good ball to feed the backs.
Mari Grieve, the Scottish international, a vet by day, will pop into this scrum. Lucy Winter, number 6, packing down on this side. Hannah Field switching to the blind side for this scrum, and Beth Stafford at number 8 for Sale. Sinead Harries at 8 for Worcester will be vocal in trying to guide her colleagues in front of her. And the two Alexes packing down at 6 and 7. It's Alex Matthews, who you can see on this near side. Alex Callender, the 10-capped Welsh international, on the open side. But referee Gator in dialogue. Laura Keats seeing the funny side of something there. The dark arts of the front row, Ollie.
Certainly is, Chris. I think the Sale front row will be so unhappy with that last one. They won't want to go backwards again here. And we do see quite a lot of reset scrum nowadays, so hopefully this ball can come in and we can get playing again.
Flo Long up against Aisha Abu Mazouk on this near side. Abu Mazouk switching to loose head last weekend, but back on the tight today. And once more, it's Worcester who've had the better of that scrum, winning that ball against the head, but sailing quickly to try and disrupt the ball and making it as difficult as possible. But it does seem so far that in the scrummage, Worcester with the ascendancy. Work here, though, for former Bristol player Katie Mattinson to try and find her options. Pop short to another former Bristolian, Flo Long, who makes a bit of ground. Nicholas. Big hit coming in there on Sinead Harries, but Harries withstanding the tackle. Nicholas again. Short to Laura Keats. Mattinson to Cara Brincat. And then a mistake in midfield from Vicky Foxwell there gives Sale the advantage, and referee Gator looking to play the advantage, but we've had 2 knock-ons now. I think that'll be enough for the ref, and indeed so. Back we go for the original Foxwell knock-on. It'll be a Sale free kick.
Lots of you are asking about where you can get your Sale Sharks replica jerseys. Well, we can confirm now the Sale Sharks shop is place an extra order with their manufacturer, so just a bit of patience with us and you should be able to get your hands on a Sale Sharks Women replica jersey as soon as possible. But in the meantime, get over to salesharks.com, click on shop and get your Christmas gifts in.
Now's the time to be getting those gifts. Here's Grieve to Daly-McLean under a bit of pressure, but she manages to get a kick away. Well claimed, though, by Vicky Laughlin on the left wing for Worcester. And now a chance for Paige Farries to come out with it. Hasn't had the chance to get on the ball too much so far, the flame-haired Canadian. Worcester in possession once more with Brincat. Strong tackling, though, from Sale. They've used that really as their cornerstone as they've developed as a side in the opening weeks to become a good defensive unit and then try and build on that with more expansive attacking play. And thus far the Sharks' defensive work very strong this afternoon, and they're back in possession now. Grieve waits. Alex Carlton thinks about going in, but elects not to, and penalty coming for offside. Yes, just another point to build on Ollie's around the replica shirts. If you head to salesharks.com now, you can see there's some fantastic items being auctioned for the Sharks Community Trust, including a signed Faf de Klerk World Cup shirt, a signed Faf de Klerk boot, and some England apparel signed by Tom Curry and Manu Tuilangi. All proceeds going to the Sharks Community Trust, for whom several of the Sale Sharks women's squad work. So head to salesharks.com, you'll see the news story, and you can place your bids.
It's looking increasingly likely, Chris, isn't it, that one or two scores are going to decide this. It's not an easy day to play rugby, and the teams are going to have to be switched on, because one try literally could make all the difference. And Sale have got a chance here to get their line out right and try and get up into that Worcester 22 for the first time in a while, and see if they can get some points on the board for the first time in the game, and that's a good start.
Good throw from Fielding, good work from Lucy Winter at the back of the line-out. Now there's a chance for the first time for Newman to get involved. Newman finds Delaney. Here goes Lauren Delaney cutting in. Real opportunity here for Sale, their first of the afternoon perhaps. Grieve waits at the base. Field available, or Howard hits Field. Fancying a second try perhaps to add to the one she scored last week. Grieve digs again, pops it short. In goes Wynne Davis. Vitally important, Sale keep hold of possession here and don't knock the ball on at a crucial time. Abu Mazouk goes in. So far so good from the Sharks. Daly McLean goes for the crossfield kick. Can she execute it? Yes, she can. Real chance to finish here. Can Alex Wallace get it down? She can indeed. Alex Wallace scores for Sale Sharks, and the famous Katie Daly McLean cross kick bears dividends. Great finish from Alex Wallace. And the Sale Sharks have the opening score of the day. Sharks 5, the Warriors 0.
Well, we said just now, Chris, what an opportunity this was for the Sharks. Not much had happened in the game, but they've had their chance and they've taken it. Katie Daly McLean has already shown what she can do with that crossfield kick. She executed brilliantly again there. Alex Wallace collected it on the right-hand wing, stepped inside and scored the Sharks' first try. A brilliant try from Sale, and that crossfield kick was tried a few weeks ago because it didn't quite work out, but today Katie Daly McLean has had it on pinpoint, and the Sharks lead in 8 minutes to go till half-time. Darren Lamb will be delighted.
First blood then to the Sharks, as Freed from Desire blasts out around the stadium. Can Katie Daly McLean add the extras? It's a long way out. How's her geometry? Just wide on this occasion, so no extras from Katie Daly McLean. But it's Sale Sharks 5, Worcester Warriors 0, and we have just under 8 minutes left in the first half. Now the importance, Ollie, now from a Sale perspective, is a clean exit from this restart.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. The first restart of the game, Sale didn't quite get right. They knocked it on, and it's going to be really important here to take this ball cleanly and clear their lines. You don't want to give Worcester an immediate route back into the game. We see it all the time, don't we? Teams score a try and then switch off. So it's important here for Sale to get their processes right.
Restart from the Warriors goes to the hands of Katie Daly McLean. Daly McLean kicks the ball forward. Worcester, though, running back at the Sale defence on the halfway line. Popped short by Vicky Foxwell. Mattinson to Nicholas. Worcester will want to try and get on the scoreboard before the interval, having conceded that first try of the day. Shackles looking to burst through with support from Alex Matthews. Jade Shackles again. Mattinson. And thrown forward in the tackle from Sinead Harries. Opportunity for Sale to just gather themselves from the tap penalty. Mari Grieve, I wonder if she might want to slow this down a bit, but no, looks to take it at pace, and Katie Daly McLean hammering the ball deep to try and catch Abby Kershaw off guard. Kershaw, though, pops it short to Vicky Laughlin. The Sale chase is good, though, and Worcester stuck on the 22-metre line. So we'll be trying to keep them there. Harry's trying to force her way out. Calendar trying to get herself to floor. Just under 6 minutes to play in this first half as Booth is put to ball once more, but Lauren Delaney can collect for Sale. Good speed from Delaney, looking to carve a way through the green line of defence. It goes Laura Perrin, try scorer last week with that skillful chip and chase. Grieve once more to Carlton. Into the centre this weekend, Alicia Carlton, having played on the wing at Gloucester. Thrown forward though by the former Waterloo player. Referee Gator playing on at the moment. Looked like that might have been a Sale knock on, but now there's a chance for Delaney to burst through. Great break from Lauren Delaney.
Play the ball. Thank you.
When she gets on the ball, the fullback really can make good yardage.
Ball is here.
Good pace once more from the Irish international, and Sale though just unable to maintain possession as Delaney looked to bring in Lisa Newman, and it will now be a Worcester penalty on their 22-metre line.
Some more shout-outs, Chris, as we approach half-time. Sue Andrade, come on Sharks. Lucy Marie, Stella running some great lines. Hopefully they'll pay off. Lauren Delaney has some great decision-making skills. Keep up the good work, ladies, from Sedgley Park ladies. From Jamie Stanton, Scarlett Fielding is smashing it. Lydia Thompson, good luck today, Worcester Warriors women. And from Gilly Field Send, come on Worcester Warriors women, and Florence Long watching in North Devon. So it's great that you're all watching from around the country or from around the world if you are joining us from elsewhere today. But it's great that you're listening to us.
Yes, please do let us know if you're joining outside of the British Isles. It's always good to know where we are reaching here, as Worcester, with 4 minutes left in this first half, look to try and get themselves on the scoreboard this afternoon. Nicholas brings in Farries in from the right wing. Now it's Kershaw from full back. Good covering from the Sale defence. Perrin to the fore on that occasion. Nicholas takes a tumble, gets up quickly. Daly McLean straight in to try and shackle her opposite number. Mattinson feeds it to Harries, who takes some stopping, and Sinead Harries managing to get it back on the Worcester side. Now Calendar, that looked very high, and I'm afraid Lucy Winter clearly high on that occasion. Worcester taking the penalty quickly, trying to catch Sale off guard. This is the nearest Worcester have been to the Sale line. 3 minutes until the interval. Sinead Harries drives forward. Now it's Matthews. Decent foundations here for Worcester to try and get themselves on the scoreboard before the interval. They've got just over 2.5 minutes to try and do so. Sale's defence needs to be disciplined here. And they've managed to win the penalty. And big noise from the Sale players and management. They knew what the important area that was to get the decision in their favour. A really good piece of work from Laura Perrin to win that penalty. Excellent work jackling at the breakdown. And Katie Daly McLean can clear.
Massive moment that from Laura Perrin, Chris. Teams have really struggled to get into the opposition 22, and Sale managed to score and get some points whilst they were up in the Warriors 22, and Sale have repelled that Worcester attack, and I think that turnover could prove crucial as the afternoon goes on.
Well, as you were saying earlier, Ollie, in a low-scoring game like this, it's all about those key moments in the 222s, isn't it? If you get the opportunity to get in the opposition 22, can you come away with points? And when it's your turn to be defending, can you ensure that you can win the penalty and get the clearance away? And it was excellent work there from Perrin, and that's more good work in the line-out from Nicola Howard, although not quite so clean as a couple of her takes this afternoon, but still good work from the Scottish international. Another one who works as a vet. Here's Mari Grieve going back to Katie Daly McLean, who looks to try and go over the head of Vicky Laughlin, the left winger for the Worcester Warriors. Worcester try and return the compliment through Kershaw. Chance there one more for Delaney to show her silky skills. She's had a really good first half, Lauren Delaney. Every time she's run from deep, she's looked a threat. Pace and guile, almost always beating the first tackler and often the second as well. It goes the power of Teleri Wynne-Davis.
Turnover's legal.
Sale transgressing at the breakdown. It looks like there might be an injury here. I think it's Laura Keats. And a bit of concern, I think, from the speed with which the medics came on and lack of movement from Laura Keats, suggesting this might be a bit of a bad injury. So let's hope this can be dealt with, and Laura Keats is not in too much discomfort at the moment. She's clearly struggling, the England international who has lost so much time in recent years through that Achilles problem. But while we have a break in play, Ollie, with just 3 minutes or so left in this first half, who else has been in touch on the social media channels?
Actually got a score update, Chris, from elsewhere. Wasps ladies have won at Exeter by 24 points to 14 down at Sandy Park. So a big away win there down on the southwest for Wasps.
That's a very good win for Wasps, who Sale have yet to come up against this season. That match will be here on the 12th of December, 2 weeks today. We'll be back, of course, with Sharks Live with full coverage of that game, but an excellent win for Wasps down at Exeter. That was a 1 o'clock kick-off this afternoon.
Update from Loughborough as well, Chris. The Lightning beating the DMP Durham Sharks by 50 points to 3.
Yes, that did look like it was going to be a very tough ask for the DMP Sharks to go to Loughborough this afternoon and come up against Sarah Hunter's side. And so it's proving so far. Now, I mentioned before the game today that Mark Luffman, the England forwards coach, is on the ground today, and he's actually come into our commentary box now. So we'll get Mark to come on perhaps for the last couple of minutes of this first half and have a bit of a chat to us and give us his thoughts on the opening 38 minutes or so, and give us a bit of a perspective from an England point of view as well. Some of you might remember Mark from his playing days for the Leeds Tykes in particular as a hooker, but he's been involved in rugby coaching for many years now, both in the men's and women's game, and one of Simon Middleton's key coaches in the England setup. So we'll get Mark on in just a moment or so as we await for this injury treatment to Laura Keats. The matches today we will keep an eye on for you. Bristol against Saracens was a 2 o'clock start. We've heard the latest score in the Loughborough DMP Durham Sharks game. And the other game taking place today in the Premier 15s, Gloucester Hartpury against Harlequins. And Saracens are leading Bristol by 29 points to 10 in that game down in the southwest. So Saracens having the best of that one. I mentioned Mark Luffman's with us, and Mark is here now. Mark, a very good afternoon. Welcome to Sharks Live, and thanks for coming up to join us.
Hi, good afternoon. No, thanks for inviting me. It's great.
Well, it's been tight so far, Mike. 5-0 at the moment. What have you made of the first 38 minutes or so?
Yeah, it's obviously tight. It's competitive, isn't it? Both defences are on top. I mean, there's some big collisions in defence, aren't there, from both sides, which is the contact area really competitive as well. So it's tough. It's tough. I guess a message from both coaches will be look after the ball a bit more securely in the second half. But yeah, it's really competitive, and I think two bits of brilliance from Katie Daly-McLean have sort of produced the difference, haven't they?
Yeah, certainly the cross kick for the try for Alex Wallace. We'd seen Katie try that a couple of weeks ago here against Bristol, obviously early in this game, but that must be one of those moments from a coaching perspective where you're so pleased you work on a move on a training ground to make it happen for real in a game. Yeah,
it's one of the things that Scott Beeman, the backs coach, is working a lot with the players on, and so to bring that to life in a game as tight as this is really good. It's great to see.
And Mark, taking an England perspective on the progression of the side at national level at the moment, how pleased are you with where you are as a group from the last few weeks?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that the sort of three internationals have given us is given us a chance to sort of rotate the squad and see different players. And I think, if you look at the strength of the squad at the moment, it's phenomenal. Yeah, the quality of the players, the finishers that came off the bench last week, the quality of the starting side, and the quality of some of the players who weren't even at the ground. It really is a testament to sort of the development and the talent that's involved in the game at the moment.
Penalty to Worcester from that scrummage. The Warriors once more showing their ascendancy in the tight, and a chance for Vicky Foxwell to clear upfield. The clock has run red, but we will have the line out and presumably one more play before referee Charlie Gator will blow up for half time. So Carmen Tremeling will have the opportunity to try and hit her player. So Laura Keats unable to continue. The second Worcester player to need to be substituted in this first half. Carol Thomas is on with over 50 Welsh caps. She joined on a short-term arrangement a few days ago and will have a full 35 minutes in the second half, plus this last play in the first, to make her mark on this game. Worcester again trying to find their way onto the scoreboard in the dying embers of the opening 35. Sale though can clear once more with Mari Greaves' boot. Decision time for Abby Kershaw. She elects to thump the ball forward. Here goes Lisa Newman cutting in from the left wing. Try score against Bristol a few weeks ago. The Welsh international hasn't had the chance to get on the ball too much in this first half, but little evidence there of what she can bring. Laura Perrin brought down. Maybe Mari Greaves might elect to kick the ball out and head to the changing rooms, but on we go. Worcester have turned it over. Mattinson. Pop short to the busy Alex Callender. Good ground made from Callender, but referee Gator once more on his whistle and giving the penalty in Worcester's favour, and Worcester putting some pressure on Sale, Mark, here at the end of this first half.
Yeah, it's very much a game of territory. It's the ball's slippy out there. It's difficult to handle the ball. So I think the kicking game is going to be crucial, sort of second half, to see how people can gain territory and then go through the phases and just build pressure on the opposition, really.
That's the voice of England forwards coach Mark Luffman, who's joining us here in the ground at the Corpacq Stadium today. At the end of this first half, we'll catch up with Mark a little bit more widely on other matters when referee Gator blows for half-time, but we're into the red zone at the end of this first half. We've had a couple of significant injuries to Laura Keats and Elizabeth Shermer, hence a little bit of additional time being played. Sale 5, Worcester 0. The Warriors trying to get themselves on the board before the break. Brincat driving forward the second row. Sale penalty looks like it's coming. Howard brings it out, and try scorer Alex Wallace says enough's enough, and we will head for the dressing rooms. Alex Wallace not wanting to stand on ceremony there. Sale know that they are in the ascendancy as they were at this time last week, and they'll be hopeful as they listen to the words of Darren Lamont and the rest of the Sale coaching staff at the interval that this time they can build from this half-time lead and turn it into a win. So half-time here at the Corpacq. It's Sale Sharks 5, Worcester Warriors 0. As I mentioned, we have Mark Luffman alongside us. And Mark, we've had the opportunity in the first half to see two teams very much fighting it out. No quarter asked or given, very little to choose between them. As a coach observing here today with your England hat on, are you looking at specific players that you're wanting to keep an eye on from a national perspective, or is it more of a wider look at just who's out there playing in the Premier 15s?
I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously we've got some players out there who are involved in the England squad and the wider squad, but it's also just to see what other players are out there and who's going well in the AP 15s game, really. So yeah, just it's a little bit of both.
Looking at the standard of women's rugby and how it's developing and building up potentially to the World Cup in New Zealand next September. Mark, we heard from Emily Lyles before kick-off, the communications manager for the women's team, about participation and giving us a bit of an inside track on the camp from the games against France. How do you feel this competition is helping you to get an ever stronger group ready to compete with New Zealand and the other top teams come next September?
Yeah, obviously the quality of the competition that the girls are playing week in, week out is crucial to building sort of the skills that we need to go and compete effectively next September. And if you look at, the quality and the other players from other nations in the league, your Welsh players, Irish players, there's Canadian players as well. The quality of the league is going up and up every week. And that can only be good for our players because their standards have to improve as well. So it's a really competitive league now, and there's been some fantastic games throughout the first sort of 6-7 rounds. It's been great.
And I can imagine many of the viewers today were glued to the French game last weekend. I can imagine from a coaching perspective. How would you best describe your emotion midway through the second half?
Do you know what? It's funny because it's. You're not quite piecing things together, but like I said earlier, you look at the quality of the finishes that we had sort of off the field. We always knew that those players could come on and add something. Add a lot. 3 World Cup winners were on the bench.
Absolutely.
So, in terms of that, we always knew we had reserves in the tank. The way the players have been training as well in the camps, they've been training. The training has been tough. It's pretty attritional. The girls have been going through some dark stuff in training, which prepares them to go through those difficult times on the field. And so we probably didn't expect us to leave it that late, but we always knew that we were still in the game, we were still in the hunt, and we could come back, and that shows the character of the players as well, which is again something that's fantastic within the group and within the wider squad. There's real character to dig in and to grind out those victories.
It must hearten you a lot as a coaching group, because I think that was 7 wins from 7 against France. Is there an element, Mark, where the players think, well, no matter how bleak the scoreboard currently looks, we're just going to win this because we're used to winning. We're in that winning mentality, that mindset, which gives you a level of belief and confidence that you're always going to pull it round, even if it takes till the 83rd minute for Emily Scarrett to kick a penalty. Yeah,
look, I think there is, whether it's a belief to win or just a real confidence in the other players in the group, and they look around and some of the girls have referenced from last week that when all those 8 subs went on at that one time, the lift that gave the players on the field and the sort of the French reaction to that was a real turning point in the game. So winning becomes a habit, doesn't it? So there's that belief within the girls and within the players. And look, France are a really good side, and to have beaten them as often as we have done recently is real testament to the girls and how they play.
I was trying to think if I'd ever seen a bench completely emptied in one go before watching that last weekend, Mark. Was it planned to go all 8 at once?
No, it was. I mean, I don't know if you recall the game. So there was a passage of play that lasted, I think it was around about six minutes. So we had planned to put some on at the start of that, and then some sort of slightly later. But as that passage of play unfolded and went on, it was a case of, do you know what? The players on there had gone through that attritional bit. So actually, let's get everyone on at the same time. And, we knew that, like, as I say, we knew they could add a huge amount of players coming off the bench, as they always do. So it was not exactly planned, but, worked out.
You had the opportunity to have both of the French games shown live on BBC television. I think 1.9 million people tuned in across the two. As you look forward, Mark, into the potential of the growth of women's rugby, do you look at something like women's football and say, well, if we look at the publicity that the sport gets, the interest in it, the profile, the crowds, obviously pre-corona, that rugby can go on a similar path of development and interest in England?
Yeah, well, that's always the hope. And I think, the quality of the games has been a real key factor. They've been really high quality games of rugby, and I think that will attract people. And I do think it can go on an upward curve, as you say. There's some great games going on, out there in the international game, but also with the Allianz 15s. There's some games, really high quality games going on every week in those.
And of course, with lockdown starting to ease, sadly not in Manchester yet, Mark, but for all the Worcester fans who are watching and listening today, great to see on their Twitter account that the Gloucester Hartpury match next Sunday, they'll be able to have up to 2,000 fans in, and I guess this is the chance now for people to really see at close quarters how the quality of women's rugby is a really good watch.
Yeah, absolutely, and it would be fantastic to get crowds back into games and into clubs. And yeah, with the 15s going on and being one of the few sort of sporting leagues that's going on at the moment, it's a great opportunity for people to get out and watch a bit of good quality, high quality rugby.
Looking forward to the World Cup next September, Mark. It will be the first time that the World Cup's been held in the Southern Hemisphere. A final at Eden Park, Auckland, which has obviously been the host of the men's final, I think, twice. What different challenges will it give you as a squad to play in New Zealand? And how many players have had experience of playing in that part of the world? Yeah,
good question. I don't know how many players have experienced those, the New Zealand sort of Southern Hemisphere kind of environment. Challenges were, these days you're picking up challenges every week, aren't you? You're having to adapt, you're having to adopt with COVID. So hopefully, the stuff we've learned about ourselves and about the group over this next period will help us with some of the challenges we get over there. And it's clearly there's a long way to go till then. We've got bits to put in place for the Six Nations first and building up to that. But it's exciting. It's a very exciting time.
And Mark, one of the things that we've learnt, and I think people who are new to the sport are kind of getting their heads around, is the fact that the vast majority of the players who play here in the Premier 15s have a full-time job, and rugby is, it's a semi-professional experience for them, which they build around their work. What challenge does that give you and Simon Middleton and the other coaches in being able to build the level of performance that you desire and the potential of the players?
Yeah, I mean, again, it builds challenges. I mean, one of the things that I've been amazed with and super impressed with, we obviously got a number of players who in the wider squad who have jobs, and what they will go through and how they will put themselves out to put on a Red Roses shirt is unbelievable. The day before the France game last week, we had one of the players teaching a lesson to her school kids, and it's virtually, and it's fantastic that we've got players who are willing to go through that, and that just adds to the richness of the squad and what have you. The girls have been fantastic, and it does present challenges, people who have other jobs, but they're great. Hopefully we can be adaptable as a sort of management team and help them as much as we can as well.
And for the young girls who are watching and listening to us now, Mark, who are perhaps getting into rugby or have played at an underage level, under 11s, 13s, 15s, whatever it might be in the sport, from a coaching perspective, at that age, which area would you say of their game is most important, perhaps, that they focus on?
Enjoyment. Just go out and enjoy the game. That's all you should be doing. I mean, even the girls who are playing in this, as long as you're enjoying the game and enjoying what you're doing, then that's the main thing. And the camaraderie that rugby brings is second to none, really. And that camaraderie, you're building friends for life.
Focus on enjoyment then, folks. The message from Mark Luffman, the England forwards coach, who has joined us here at the Corpacq Stadium today on Sharks Live. Thank you very much, Mark, for all your insights and views from inside the England camp. But we have the chance now to go pitch side with Carrie Morris, who is with the Sale Sharks coach, Darren Lamont.
Hi Darren, you must be delighted with that first half performance.
Yeah, happy for the girls. A little bit stop-starty with unfortunately a few injuries, and yeah, the weather playing its part in kind of territory and possession. But yeah, pretty happy. You know, going into a 5-point lead is something I'd have took your hand off before. So.
Yeah, I saw you walking back to the change rooms with that little notepad. Are there any positives that you've noted down in that pad that you hope the women bring to this second half?
Yeah, I think so. The other coaches had some really good points. Yeah, I think if we play in the right areas, whatever that kind of means, but we're kind of saying in their half, put them under a little bit of pressure with them being away from home. I think we might force some errors and then we get possession and hopefully we can get some points from that and see the game out.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, cheers.
See you later.
Darren Lamont giving his thoughts ahead of the second half to our touchline reporter, Carrie Morris, as Sale restart this afternoon's Alliance Premier 15s match. 5 points to the good against the visitors Worcester Warriors. Welcome back to full coverage of the second half. I'm Chris Malaband, and you heard from Mark Luffman there, the England forwards coach, at half-time. I hope that was good to get an insight from an England coaching perspective. And big thanks too to Emily Lyles, the England women's communications manager, who joined us pre-match via Zoom to also give us a few more thoughts from inside the England camp. We get underway then for the second half. Katie Daly-McLean restarting proceedings. Sale as ever in all dark blue. Visitors Worcester Warriors in their change kit of, I guess you'd call it turquoise. They are in possession at the start of this half. Katie Mattinson launching that up and under early on as up goes Lisa Newman to try and win that one. But Worcester back in possession. We'll recap the teams in just a few moments. Don't forget you can keep in touch throughout the second half through all the social channels. So please give us your messages if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube or on Twitter, and Ollie Lathrop alongside me will read out as many of those as we can. Can Sale Sharks win their first game in the Alliance Premier 15s? Can they hold on, or will Worcester break their hearts in the way that Gloucester Hartpury did in the second 35 minutes last week? Ollie.
Blessed with great transmission. Brilliant. You're able to watch us down in Argentina, Emmanuel. And Justine Lopez is watching in France. So a couple of people watching from all around the world, which is great.
Excellent. Always good to hear where people are. And particularly if they're joining in from far-flung lands, always good to hear that the internet has the power to take the sound and pictures way beyond South Manchester. First line out of the second half then, which Scarlett Fielding throws in. Lucy Winter couldn't hold that. Knock on from the Sale blindside flanker. And Worcester playing on the advantage of referee Craig Gator. Matthews looking to drive that one up. Bit of support from Carol Thomas on as a replacement for the injured Laura Keats. We wish her well. Keats not in a good shape towards the end of that first half, but we hope things are not too serious and she can get back soon. Holding on is the infringement for which Sale win a penalty and an opportunity to earn some more territory.
I've got a request, Chris. If you're watching this stream today, give it a share, whether you're a Sale Sharks women's fan or a Worcester Warriors women's fan. Give this stream a share. Get as many eyes on it as possible. We want as many people watching the Alliance Premier 15. So do your bit from home, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitter or Facebook. Give it a retweet, a share, a like. Everything, Chris, we want to see it.
Spread the word of the Alliance Premier 15s and the good quality of women's rugby, which you can enjoy for free, of course. As Worcester look to escape again through Alex Callender playing at open side flanker. But Sale have stolen it back. Opportunity for the Sharks to progress forward. It's Teleri Wynne-Davis using her power, supported by Aisha Abu-Mazouk. Grieve, Perrin, finds Alicia Carlton. Carlton does well to ensure that Sale maintain possession, and Grieve is back at the base of the ruck again. Popped short to Beth Stafford. Sale's captain by day, an analytical chemist. Daly-McLean popped short to Gwen Pears. Can Pears maintain possession on the floor? She can. Grieve, Daly-McLean, Perrin. Worcester defence up quickly once more. No real space for Sale to work with, and Sale moving laterally rather than really making progress into the Worcester territory. Daly McLean. Once more probing. Lauren Delaney on the ball. Arguably Sale's best player, I would say, in the first half. This time, though, the knock-on once more. And it will be a Worcester free kick. Just to recap the team, Sale this afternoon. Lauren Delaney at fullback. Alex Wallace, the try scorer, on the right wing. Lisa Newman wearing 11 on the left. Alicia Carlton is 13 and Laura Perrin 12. Katie Daly McLean at outside half. Mari Grieve at scrum half, number 9. Gwen Pears and Aisha Abu Mazouk are the props. Scarlett Fielding the hooker. Taleri Wynne Davis and Nicola Howard the second rows. Lucy Winter the blindside flanker, number 6. Hannah Field on the open side. Beth Stafford at number 8. No replacements as yet from Darren Lamont. It's the starting 15 who continue for Sale. We'll go through the Worcester side in just a moment as Carlton does well to maintain possession for the Sale Sharks. Grieve to Perrin. Wynne Davis once more popping up in midfield to add to the cavalry. Grieve again. Nice work from Perrin. Tries the back of the hand pass, which she's tried a couple of times so far today. And again, unfortunately, the execution can't quite match the idea. Another tap for Katie Mattinson to ponder. Mattinson popped short to replacement Carol Thomas, and Worcester now bursting through with Sinead Harries and still going, and there's a chance for Worcester here. Is this going to be the equalising try? Neat work from Nicholas, twisting left and right. Was that a knock-on at the base by Katie Mattinson? Yes, it was. And Sale jumping around. Look at the reaction of Alex Wallace there. Sale number 14, celebrating almost like it was a try of their own. It looked like Sale might be pegged back as Nicholas danced her way through, number 10 for Worcester. But when the offence came, Sale get the chance to get out of jail. Ollie.
Great scramble defence there again from Sale. I know we mentioned it in the first half, Chris, but it is going to be a day of taking your chances. Sale have taken theirs, and Worcester again there, breaking into the Sharks 22 and haven't quite managed to score, and there'll be some disappointment there. They haven't been able to do so, and Sale retain their 5-point lead. And we'll just go through some more shout-outs, Chris, whilst you're with me. James Wright, great to see former Eccles RFC ladies playing. Mary, Liz, Katie, showing our young girls where they can get if they keep working hard. Go well, girls. Anthony Stevens, good luck Hannah Stevens on the bench for Worcester today. Hope you get on. Fantastic representation from Pyod, Pink, Tumble RFC from Dad. Simon Wallace, shout out from Dubai. Great game and coverage. Come on, Sharks. So another international shout out.
So Argentina, France and Dubai so far. Let us know if you can add to that list of international watchers as Sale make a change. Aisha Abu Mazouk coming off and Katie Horton coming on. The assistant head teacher who started last weekend against Gloucester Hartpury. 28 minutes remain here at the Corpacq Stadium. Sale 5 points to the good. Good work from Laura Perrin, breaking the gain line and making good yardage there. Looking like Amelia Buckland-Hurry is offside there, and referee Gator agreeing. Mari Grieve taking the penalty quickly herself and with a decent fend making a bit of yardage, but that pass bouncing out the hands. And once more we're seeing knock-ons as a feature of this game. Referee Gator giving Worcester the chance of the advantage though as Harries carries it clear. In comes Alex Callender to act as scrum half, but on that occasion Sarah Nicholas can't hold on, and it will be a Sale free kick which Grieve takes to Daly McLean.
Big opportunity here, Chris. Sale have been on the back foot for much of this second half, but their first chance inside the Worcester half, and it hasn't quite paid off. It looked as if it might have gone forward, but Sale have a chance.
Taleri Wynne Davis benefiting after Mari Grieve couldn't quite get her pass away, but Sale is still on the attack here. No infringement awarded by referee Gator. The ball clearly going backwards as Katie Horton joins that piece of play. Decent phases from Sale. Grieve once more digs it out. Alicia Carlton trying to weave her way through, but decent Worcester defence cutting her off. Fielding can't quite put her hands on that, but the infringement comes and Sale's attack comes to a conclusion. And it remains Sale Sharks 5, Worcester Warriors 0. We've had 9 minutes of this second half. Just a recap on the Worcester Warriors team. Fullback is Abby Kershaw. Paige Farry's on the right wing. Vicky Laughlin on the left. Vicky Foxwell at outside centre and Jade Shackels at inside centre. Sarah Nicholas at fly half. Katie Mattinson is number 9. Flo Long and Carol Thomas are the props. Thomas on as a first half sub for the injured Laura Keats. Carmen Tremeling is the hooker. Cara Brincat and Amelia Buckland-Hurry in the second row. Buckland-Hurry a first half sub for Elizabeth Shermer. Alex Matthews, Alex Callender and Sinead Harries the back row. Worcester line out then. Question mark whether that was straight, and I think referee Gator seeing it the same way I did as Buckland-Hurry made that catch. So an opportunity here for Scarlett Fielding. In for Molly Kelly today, who has a work commitment to try and continue the high level of accuracy that she's had in this game so far. So Fielding will have Lucy Winter, Nicola Howard to aim for here, you'd think. A couple of the usual targets in this line out. Hannah Field in there as well, number 7. Field running to the front, looking for Hannah Field. And the free kick coming against Sale at that line out for closing. And that'll be frustrating for Darren Lamont and his coaching staff that Sale have coughed up possession there from a point where they had the opportunity to dictate. And was that a knock-on as Alex Matthews tried to find Sinead Harries? Yes, it was. Sale free kick.
Some more shout-outs, Chris. Holly Howard, shout-out to Staffordshire University women's rugby team tuning in to support Sale today. Elaine Farries watching from snowy Red Deer, Alberta. Paige Farries' parents. Alberta, that's Canada, isn't it, Chris?
It is Canada. Very snowy, I can imagine, Alberta at this time of year, but great to have Paige Farries' family watching on. Goodness me, we don't know cold in Manchester, Ollie, if we've been to Alberta. That's taken it to another level, but great to have you with us in Canada today, watching the stream. As Sale win a penalty in a really good position, deep here in the Worcester 22.
Interesting decision coming here, Chris. A penalty, the 3 points, would take it with it over a score, over the 7 points. And in such a tight game, I do wonder whether Katie Daly-McLean will be quite happy just to nudge this one over.
Yeah, you'd think go for the sticks here, and I think that's what Katie Daly-McLean is requesting. Which is likely to mean that our cameras, which are behind the posts at this end of the ground, may have to be moved fairly dexterously, depending on how Katie Daly-McLean's kick comes towards the place in which we're commentating on this match. But Daly-McLean, you'd think, would fancy her chances 9 times out of 10 of slotting this one over, and if she can, that will give Sale an 8-point lead. 12 minutes gone in the second half. Decent connection from Katie Daly-McLean. Makes absolutely no mistake there. And an 8-point lead for the Sharks now. And Daly-McLean making absolutely no doubt about that one, as Mari Grieve is relieved by Jess Roberts, who played at number 9 against Gloucester last weekend, and will have 22 minutes or so to put her mark on this game. So Worcester are going to have to play catch-up rugby. Sale at the moment able to take advantage in the Worcester 22 when they get there. Worcester as yet have not done so in the Sale 22, but important for Daly-McLean to get a decent clearance away there. And She doesn't find touch. Now Worcester can bring it back through Sinead Harries once more. Decent platform to work from for Mattinson, the scrum half. Here's the powerful Flo Long, making another few yards. Sale's discipline has got to remain good at the breakdown. They don't want to be penalised here. And going off feet might have been Scarlett Fielding, who was picked up by referee Gator. It's going to give a scrum to the Worcester Warriors. They've had the ascendancy in the scrum ollie here, so important for Sale to try and at least match the Warriors from this and not to start retreating.
Can I have some quick messages here, Chris, I think. Kim Gibbons, come on Warriors, keep up the pressure in the second half. And some praise for you, Chris, here. Chris, from a photographer, your commentary is really helpful as it gives me an insight into what the ref is saying. Keep up the good work.
Very kind. Thank you, Mr. Photographer. Well, it's a privilege to be in the open air on a Saturday afternoon at a game. Something that's not been possible too often over the last few months, thanks to the coronavirus. And it's a really fascinating encounter we've got in front of us now, as Worcester, still very much in this game, look to try and get themselves on the scoreboard. Still much work for Sale to do if they're going to ensure they take the points for the first time since their inception as a Premier 15s outfit. So far, so good for Darren Lamont's side, but still a lot of rugby to be played in this one. Just under 20 minutes left on the clock. Here's Roberts on at scrum half for Sale. And Sale's just struggling once more to get ball in hand. Really important they don't concede too many of these free kicks. It's going to give Worcester more and more opportunity and take more and more energy out of the legs and arms of the Sale tacklers as this game starts to move towards its final quarter. And now a chance for Shackels to burst through the middle. Really good break this. Jade Shackels has looked a threat when she's had a bit of space this afternoon for the visitors. Decent Sale defence stems the initial problem. Here comes Brincat. Still deep in Sale territory here. All about discipline now for the Sharks. Can they try and force a Worcester error? From a Worcester perspective, can their hands ensure they don't knock on from close quarters? And can they force their way through the Sale defensive line? Patient build-up from the Warriors. Joe Yap, their director of rugby, will have worked on this kind of move, no doubt, with the team plenty of times in training. Up the jumper rugby it may be, but so far it's proving effective. Many a men's side have taken advantage from close range playing in exactly this way, but the first time the ball is spun down the line in this phase, Sale look to have got on it. Excellent defence, and I think that's been ripped out of the tackle as Jade Shackels was brought down, and Sale have managed to get the ball back, and Katie Daly-McLean is able to hammer it out. And real credit once more to the Sale defensive effort there, Ollie. It looked like as Worcester were building the phases, keeping it tight in the forwards, that the try might come. As soon as though the ball was spun out, Sale out so quickly, getting the turnover and getting it clear.
Absolutely, Chris. And we've seen a difference today markedly between that game a few weeks ago against Bristol, both in attack and defence. Sale have been clinical in attack, taking their opportunities when they've been in the Worcester 22. And the defence on their own line has been superb. Another chance there stopped by the Warriors, and again the visitors are forced to play from a bit further out, and they're running out of time in a game where there hasn't been many points. This 8 is quite a lot.
Yes, you mentioned in the first half, Ollie, the need to take chances when in the opposition 22 in such a tight encounter, and thus far Worcester have not been able to turn some of their phases into points when they've got close to the Sale line, but they've still got 18 minutes in which to do it, and Sale will be mindful of the fact that they weren't able to keep Gloucester Hartpury out in the second half last weekend. Will that be a useful vaccination for Sale this afternoon as they try again to hold on to a lead and try again to find that first elusive win. Once more Worcester attack. Once more Shekels is involved in it. She pops the ball short. Vicky Laughlin coming in from the left wing. Hasn't had a huge amount of ball today, but massive tackle coming in there as Sale burst out with Gwen Pears. But it is going to be a Worcester penalty now then, Ollie. This is decision time, because this is right in front of the posts.
I think you have to look at the 3 points there, don't you, Chris? Surely get back within that losing bonus point at least.
Yeah. No, taking the score. That is an interesting decision. Is this a decision which Worcester may come to regret later on? Because that was a very kickable penalty that has been turned down just outside the 22-metre line. You'd have thought it was in the kicking range for Sarah Nicholas. And there was clearly a discussion there amongst the senior Worcester players what they were going to do. They've elected for the scrum, which is the set piece, of course, that they have had the ascendancy in this afternoon. So that makes sense from a evidence so far point of view. And maybe Worcester will fancy their chances of pushing Sale backwards here. And then with the forwards tied in, will back their own backs to try and penetrate the Sale three-quarter line. Let's see. Mattinson with the put-in. Secure ball at the back of the scrum for Sinead Harries. Down goes the scrum. A penalty comes, but in some senses that's not hugely useful to Worcester, because on the last occasion they said we'll have a scrum and they've just done the same again. So it's as you were, really.
This is an interesting choice here, because you're almost playing for another penalty. I'm not quite sure I understand where Worcester are going here. Are they potentially playing for a yellow card on Sale from Sale? I don't really understand this decision making.
So a second scrum will be formed. Katie Mattinson having a look round. Sale have struggled in this set piece. The line out has gone pretty well for the Sharks today, but the scrum has been a different story. Definite advantage for the Worcester Warriors in this set piece. Mattinson feeds. Worcester again with the drive on. Up come the front rows. Referee Gator having a look at this. This time Mattinson plays it. Nicholas. Shekels hitting the line at speed. This time is brought down. Can't break the gain line on this occasion. Now it's with Megan Varley on as a replacement. Matthews, the England flanker, takes it forward. Nicholas once more. Big hit comes in on Carol Thomas, but Worcester still in possession. Nicholas once more. Shekels to Kershaw. Lisa Newman trying to keep tabs on Kershaw and does enough to bring her down. Worcester not able to make any real territorial gain as yet. The Sale line holding strong on their own 22. Mattinson, and then a knock on by Nicholas. That's going to give Sale the free kick tap. And once more, Ollie, Sale defence absolutely rock solid.
It is, Chris. It's been a real strength of the Sharks today, and I'm sure Darren Lamon will be delighted with that. And 13 minutes to go for Sale. One win. It's almost here, Chris. Just need to get through these last 30 minutes. An 8-point lead, and it's going to be really important to play the territory, not be playing inside your own 22 as Sale have been for the last 5 minutes or so, and potentially try and grow that lead.
How are you feeling, Sharks fans? Let us know on the social media channels, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube. Are you feeling confident? Are you seeing this team moving up to another gear with their defensive display today, as Sale make a huge yardage gain there? No chance for Paige Farries or Abby Kershaw to stem the Sale movement up the pitch, as that ball goes out for a Sale line out. Scarlett Fielding's day is done. Excellent shift from the former England under-18 hooker. And Freya Helen is ready for her first throw-in of the afternoon. 13 minutes from a first ever Sale victory in the Alliance Premier 15s, as we have a change of thinking. And Jess Roberts will be able to launch Sale from this free kick. Daly McLean with a short pop pass into the hands of Katie Horton, the replacement prop. can see the confidence and the noise from the Sale team. They know how valuable this defensive shift has been. They've kept Worcester to 0 on the scoreboard. You'd think another score here and it would be a heck of a long way back for the Warriors in the time that's left. Can Sale put something together and go into double figures on the board? It's a dank and grey evening in South Manchester, but the Sale Sharks performance is certainly adding plenty of colour as Daly McLean looks to try and another of her innovative cross kicks, looking for Lisa Newman, but Sarah Nicholas is first to that. But great work at the breakdown once more from a combination of Perrin and Horton. Managed to draw the penalty, and that's meaning that Katie Daly McLean is backing herself for the posts once more, with the opportunity of taking Sale into an 11-point lead. Ollie.
Katie Daly McLean will be very happy here just to run down this clock a little bit more, try and grow that lead, push it up to 11 in a low-scoring game. Is going to be very difficult for the Warriors to go and get 2 tries in the last 10 minutes. So Sale looking very good here. As we'll just go to some more shout-outs. Danny G, awesome try from Alex Wallace in the Alliance Women's 15. So proud of her, watching live from Dubai. It was an absolutely brilliant try. I agree. Louise Howard, shout out from home in 5 to big sis Nicola Howard, go Sharks. So some family members get in touch as well. We hope you're enjoying the stream and the chance to watch Sale today, and hopefully we'll see you all down here when the law allows.
Fair long way out this for Daly McLean. Probably close to 40 metres, certainly at least 35, but central. Can she hold a nerve? Really good connection from Katie Daly McLean. Never looked like missing for a moment. And Sale Sharks are 11 minutes away from their first ever victory in the competition.
They can almost taste it, Chris. 10 minutes to go, 11 points ahead. So close to that first victory, as we'll have a bit of a break here, and I'm sure Darren Lamman will just be urging calm. Don't get too overexcited. Get your restart processes right. Don't give Worcester a chance to get back into this. A couple more messages coming through. Claire B says, come on Worcester, and Paul James says, come on Sale.
Balance in all things. Well, 11 minutes to go and 11 points the lead. The Sale performances have been improving week on week. It was a tough afternoon against Harlequins a few weeks ago, but the Gloucester Hartpury performance was very heartening for Darren Lamont and his coaching staff, and particularly with the likes of Mari Grieve and Katie Daly McLean available again today. This did look like a possible game that Sale could get off the mark in the wins column. Still work to do. Still 11 minutes to play, and the Worcester Warriors have shown threat at times in this second half, but Sale will know that they are in touching distance, as Ollie Lathrope says. Georgie Perris-Redding on now, number 20, you can see in the shot, and big discussions there from Hannah Field, you can see, speaking, using all her experience, involved on the coaching side as well. Field here at the Sale Sharks. Just clarifying minds, ensuring people are clear on the processes, the disciplines, what they've worked on in training all week, what they've spoken about, can really be utilised now with victory in sight. A first victory perhaps around 10.5 minutes away if Sale can keep the discipline, exit well from this restart and match the standards they've set themselves in the first hour of this game.
Some more results from elsewhere, Chris. Saracens 6 from 6. They've won at Bristol today by 36 points to 10. And the Loughborough Lightning with another big win, 57-3 over the DMP Durham Sharks.
Thanks, Ollie. Restart then from Nicholas for Worcester. Can Sale get themselves out of trouble? Powerful work from Georgie Perris-Redding. Using her fresh legs, having just come off the bench, but Sale have turned it over. And Worcester in possession once more, have the chance to put some pressure on themselves with Megan Varley finding the dangerous Jade Shekels. Nicholas to Kershaw. Kershaw steps inside Lisa Newman, but Newman with a decent tackle is able to halt her progress. Mattinson, Nicholas, Callender. Small maul gives Worcester another couple of metres. Mattinson again. Nicholas. Long. Tremeling. Now a chance for Harries on the burst. Harries punching a hole. Worcester looking dangerous again. Nicholas to substitute Joe Brown, but the England international has knocked on. And that's been the story of Worcester's afternoon, really, Ollie. A few good phases, and then just when it looks like they might be causing real threat, generally a handling error has emerged.
Yeah, I think when they watch this back in the week, they'll be slightly disappointed because they have had the chances in this second half. That's a good kick from the free kick there, but they will be disappointed. This second half, they have had the opportunities, and they might have another one here, Chris, as we go down. Oh, what a tackle.
Great breakout from Abby Kershaw, but what a covering tackle that was from Alicia Carlton. Comfortable on the wing as well as at outside centre, but just when it looked like Abby Kershaw was going to make some serious yardage down the right touchline, across came Carlton, born locally in Salford, with a super cover tackle. It really has been an excellent defensive effort from Sale. 8 minutes and 20 seconds, say the red LEDs of the clock at the far end of the Corpacq Stadium. Sale Sharks 11, Worcester Warriors 0, if you're just joining us on Sharks Live. Sale line out, knocked on clearly there. It's going to be a Sale advantage after the Worcester hand knocked it forward, but referee Gator giving Sale the opportunity to go through a couple of phases. Jess Roberts was keen to get on with it quickly, but there's no need for Sale to rush anything now. The clock is their friend here. Paris Redding injecting her energy from the bench. Roberts, Daly McLean. Perrin makes a couple of yards. Carlton steps in at scrum half and finds the frame of Wyn Davis. But Tulare Wyn Davis penalised on the floor for not releasing as she went into that tackle. And that's going to give Worcester a penalty just inside their own territory, and there are 7 minutes remaining on the clock.
A few more messages, Chris, from Vinnie Delaney in Dublin, dad of Lauren Delaney. Well done, Sale Sharks. Well played, Lauren Delaney. And Chris, who's pitch side, I'm so proud to be here supporting these women. I don't know who it is pitch side, but there's a Chris pitch side, Chris.
Chris. Thank you, Ollie. Sale in possession again inside their 22. Good work from Katie Horton. Execution of the phase is important here for Sale to create the gap for Daly McLean to launch them upfield. Is she going to get the bounce of the ball? No, the bounce of the ball is not the friend of Katie Daly McLean, and Worcester at least have the chance to run it out, but good yardage gained from the Sale Sharks.
Release. She's on the floor, you've got to release before taking the ball.
And Hannah Field penalised for not rolling away from the tackle. So penalty to the Worcester Warriors. And Katie Mattinson, many times an England cap, thumps that ball up the near touchline. Just under 6 minutes remain for Sale to see this one out. And Worcester to score 2 tries and convert one of them from here, Ollie, looks a stiff ask.
It does, Chris. It hasn't been the easiest game for running rugby, and to have to score 2 tries in quick succession is going to be a real tough ask here for Worcester. But they need to try for a bonus point. Every point counts towards the end of the season, so there's still plenty to play for here in these final 5 minutes. But Sale are so close to that first victory now, and it would be fully deserved as well.
Yes, if Sale can see this one out, they will head to the North East next weekend and a match against the DMP Sharks, who've lost every game so far this season and have been quite heavily beaten in most of those, with confidence that they could perhaps back up this win with another one. And then Wasps here on the 12th of December, so maybe this could be the start of a little bit of a run for Sale Sharks. Darren Lamont will not be taking anything for granted and will be wanting focus from his players and to, of course, take every match as it comes. But after a difficult first few weeks, this was probably inevitable when you put together a side from scratch. it looks like Sale might just be starting to turn the corner this afternoon. The hard work from Gloucester Hartpury last weekend bearing dividends thus far today. 5.5 minutes on the clock as Lucy Winter loses out to Alex Matthews in the line out. Matthews with a good claim. And Shakel's on the burst is brought down by Laura Perrin. She's had a really hard-working game, the Sale inside centre. Shakel's has been a difficult opponent for her, but thus far the defensive effort of Perrin and others has stopped the impact of Shakel's from turning into points. Worcester, though, are not done in this one yet. Mattinson continues to burrow away at scrum half. Finds Harries. Mattinson just inside Worcester territory. Pops it short to Taz Bricknell, one of the Worcester replacements. But again, the Sale defence means that Worcester are forced to go laterally rather than forward. Mattinson to Nicholas. Nicholas looking to find the gap over the head of Lisa Newman. Great cover from Delaney and a lovely pass inside to Lisa Newman. Really well dealt with again, just when it looked like Sale could be in a bit of trouble. Quality work from Lauren Delaney. Backed up by Lisa Newman, and Sale once more with a decent exit from a potentially tricky situation. Back it goes from Roberts to Daly McLean. It looks like she might be playing the full 70 minutes this afternoon with just 4 minutes or so left on the clock.
A few more shout-outs, Chris. Fiona Collett, Sale Sharks, you were amazing. So much improvement. The girls deserve to win this game. Put in so much effort in. We agree with you there, Fiona. And if you have got any messages post-match, any thoughts on the game from what we've seen, how well Sale have played today, then do get those in.
Yes, please do send those messages in. Always good to see and hear your reaction to this afternoon's game and to get your thoughts on what the possibilities might be. But for those who've watched our coverage of previous weeks, the improvement is clear to see as Sale close in on this first victory, and once more good line-out possession gives an opportunity for Daly McLean to get moving. And Sale, with some momentum, breach the gain line and have a chance again to make some yardage. Once more, Katie Horton carrying well, having come off the bench as an impact sub, and there goes Perrin taking the quick tap. Sale are wanting more tries here, but unfortunately the enthusiasm backfires, and Worcester have the chance from the penalty at the breakdown to go again. They know they've got no time and they've got to score quickly if they fancy even a losing bonus point this afternoon. Matthews looks to carry the charge for the Warriors as she has for much of the game. Flo Long in midfield, ever hard working. Now Sinead Harries driving forward. Sale have got 2.5 minutes to see this out. Worcester continue to probe. Long pass out to replacement Joe Brown, but once more the knock-on comes, and the intensity of Sale's defence for the umpteenth time this afternoon draws the error. And I think now, Ollie, we can be confident in saying this is going to be Sale's day. 2 minutes on the clock.
I think we can, Chris. There's lots of excitement coming from the Sale bench at the moment. The very small numbers of people that are inside the ground making plenty of noise, and only a minute and a half to go now for Sale to register their first victory. And we'll be joined by Katie Daly McLean. Carrie will be down pitch side to chat to her post-match. So if you do have any questions for Katie, then do get them in.
It's going to be a historic moment coming up in around about 90 seconds or so. And as Ollie says, Carrie Morris, our touchline reporter, will be getting immediate reaction from the Sale camp. So do stay with us on Sharks Live. Even after the final whistle, we'll get you some instant reaction from what hopefully should be some very joyous Sale players and officials. It's been a hard-won game here this afternoon at the Corpacq Stadium, but a disciplined defensive performance, an excellent try from Alex Wallace. Two very good place kicks from Katie Daly McLean, and a really thorough, disciplined defensive effort from 1 to 23. are going to ensure that Sale pick up their first win of the season. Can they put the icing on the cake with a late score? We're into the last few seconds. The clock is going to go red very, very shortly. Ball popped short once more to Katie Horton. She's had impact off the bench, the replacement prop. Daly McLean, little chip over the top looking for Lisa Newman. Well gathered by Paige Farries, and Farries does well to carry out from her own 22 and set the ball back. Lisa Newman with a big hit comes in on Sarah Nicholas. A microcosm perhaps of the Sale performance this afternoon, that tackle by Newman, but it is going to be a Worcester penalty. The clock has gone red, so Worcester have got one more attack. We can safely say Sale are going to win this game, but Worcester have got one more opportunity to perhaps salvage a losing bonus point. Short break in play for injury. Ollie, give us your reflections on this Sale performance.
Well, I think it's been an excellent one, Chris. Conditions haven't been great, and I think early on they'll admit, Sale, that things didn't quite go to plan, but they've certainly been the better side. It's been more clinical when they've got in the opposition 22. Katie Daly McLean with that crossfield kick for Alex Wallace finished absolutely brilliantly, and defence has been good as well. There's been a couple of times in this second half that Worcester have been pushing towards the Sale line, but Sale have scrambled well and stopped them scoring. I think a naught on the Worcester Warriors board would be very pleasing to Darren Lamon.
Yes, that's the icing on the cake, isn't it? The fact that his defence have completely shut out the Worcester Warriors.
Can we come then, Worcester, please?
Credit to everyone involved at Sale this afternoon. Final play of the game then, as Worcester pursue a losing bonus point. Carmen Tremeling prepares to throw in. Slight injury delay, which is just being attended to. Sarah Nicholas getting some attention after that really big hit from Lisa Newman right at the end of proceedings here. And Sarah Nicholas just struggling for a moment or so there. Doesn't look too serious, hopefully. And we will get on with the final plays of the game before hopefully some joyous scenes will come onto your screen wherever you're watching this afternoon, on whatever device. I think there'll be lots of dark blue shirts jumping very high in a minute or so. There certainly should be, because Sale have earned their right this afternoon to this victory. And that victory will be theirs as soon as this attack concludes. Even if Worcester score, Sale will win the game. Good possession from the Warriors line out. Mattinson to Newman. Big hit in midfield. Kershaw brought down by Newman. Shekels works it wide. Across once more comes the Sale defence. Lauren Delaney with a massive hit. And that is it. Cue the celebrations. Sale Sharks enjoy the moment. The Sale Sharks replacements enjoy the moment. Sprinting on all the players who've been substituted in the second half. And just look at these scenes. Just look at these scenes. Massive congratulations to Darren Lamont, all the coaching team and all the players. This has been a huge effort by all concerned. Their first victory as a team in the Alliance Premier 15s. Bonus point last week, a half-time lead, but ultimately disappointment by the 70-minute point. But this time, Sale Sharks have got the win, and they've got a deserved win by 11 points to 0. They are up and running, and they can enjoy the adulation of those lucky few who are inside the Corpacq Stadium. Ollie Lathrope.
Plenty of messages coming in, Chris. A lot of people very, very happy about this result. Let's just try and go through some of them. Mandy Lamon Stringfellow, so proud of my boy and his ladies today. Go Sharkettes. Richard Stevens, cracking defence, ladies. Keep it up. The first win is in the bag. Dave Bradley, well done, Sale, deserved win. Justine Shaw, absolutely buzzing with the win for Sale, well deserved. Looking forward to being able to come and watch you girls soon. Paul James, massive win, well done. So lots of happy people out there tonight, and deservedly so. What a great day.
Well, to everyone who has friends or relatives in the Sale team, and to all the Sale supporters watching this today, this one really is for you. It's been a little while coming, but what a moment to enjoy for the Sale players. Improving every week, working hard in training, and today getting the moment An opportunity for Beth Stafford, number 8, to lead the Sale Sharks through that tunnel of Worcester players. A lovely moment for all involved at the Sharks as they come off victorious for the first time, and particularly good for them to enjoy the moment at the Corpacq Stadium. Really special scenes as the players embrace one another and celebrate. Sometimes in sport, the first time is just better than every time. And just to see so many smiling faces, to see the reaction of players embrace one another. There must have been times over the last few weeks where self-belief has been tested, particularly down at Harlequins a few weeks ago. But today, Sale had their day on their own ground, and an opportunity for them to put it all together and to enjoy their moment now as they debrief with Darren Lamont. And Ollie, as Darren talks things through with the players out in front of us here on the pitch, this must be one of the moments when coaching really pays you back.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. All that hard work in pre-season, all that preparation. It's hard work being a coach, and for the players as well. They've worked hard as well. As you said, there's been some tough results along the way, but that's going to happen. It's a new team. Things aren't going to be perfect straight away, but we've seen gradual improvement, haven't we? From that Bristol game last week, a few weeks ago, Gloucester Hartbury last week, getting a losing bonus point, and then today picking up that first victory, and it was a fully deserved victory. I thought Sale, particularly in defence, were excellent. I know conditions were difficult to attack in, but they did everything they needed to, and that's all that matters sometimes in rugby. They got the win. It's an 11-0 win, and there's plenty to build on now.
Hard to pick out individuals through the performance. It was a terrific team effort across the board, but I think we saw the quality of Katie Daly-McLean, not just from the kicking tee, but also her game management. Lauren Delaney, excellent, a real threat, particularly in the first half with ball in hand. I thought Teleri Wynne-Davis as well put in some big hits in the midfield and really gave Sale a great carrying option. Scarlett Fielding, excellent, particularly at the line out, really good throwing this afternoon. Nicola Howard did her job at the line out as well. But right across the pitch, Sale 1-23 should be proud of their performances this afternoon. Everybody pulled together to pull off this first victory of the season, and hopefully it might be one that they can back up when they head to the northeast and face the DMP Sharks next weekend. We will be back here, of course, for Wasps on the 12th of December, the next time Sale are at the Corpacq Stadium. And hopefully, if Manchester's progress through the coronavirus tiers continues, then some fans might be not too far away from coming in and enjoying seeing the Sale Sharks in person, and as we move into the second half of the season after Christmas, enjoying the development of this team. Now we are hopeful very soon of getting some reaction from Darren Lamont and hopefully Katie Daly-McLean once the expected celebrations conclude.
It's a real chance now, Chris, isn't there, with going to DMP Durham Sharks next week, who haven't had the easiest start to the season, and then another home game against Worcester come after that. So it'd be good to go into that Christmas break with another couple of wins on the board. It won't be easy, but momentum in sport can play a big role, can't it? And we've seen the last couple of weeks, Sale have gradually got better and better, and what's not to say they can improve again next week?
Well, the opportunity is there for them, you'd think, to back up this win with another win and to continue on that journey in the northeast. So this is hopefully a turning point for the Sale Sharks, and we hope you have enjoyed the coverage this afternoon. Please keep your comments coming into the chat if you want to congratulate particular players or the Sale team on what they've achieved today. We will hopefully catch up with Darren Lamont in just a few minutes' time. Carrie Morris is poised with her microphone at the touchline to try and grab Darren as the players come off, and hopefully we might get a word with Katie Daly-McLean as well.
Got a few messages coming in, Chris. Claire B, as a Worcester fan, really glad Sale got their first win. Thanks for that, Claire. Chris Hill, brilliant win for Sale. Congrats to Darren Lamont in the team. Vicky Owen, up the Blues. Lawrence Farries, congrats Sale. So many Red Deer folks liked the announcers. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. But it's not about us today. It's about the Sale Sharks women who are posing for a photograph after their first win. We'll hopefully hear from someone very shortly, and there's a nice moment there.
Well, it's a lovely moment, isn't it, as the players link arms for a photograph, a really real moment, hopefully, for years to come, where players involved today will look back and go, I was there, I was playing, I wore the Sale Sharks shirt the first time we won a game in the Alliance Premier 15s. But let's hope it's just the first of many, and that some of these players can look back in months to come and say, well, that was the first win, but there were plenty more as well. And look at us now. Who's to know where this team might be perhaps next season or the one beyond that, as the development of the team continues and players' skill sets continue to be further honed and the players gel together. So this season, all about establishing themselves in this league, getting a foothold and building a little bit of momentum, and then let's see what's possible in the years ahead. We know at the moment Harlequins and Saracens are the dominant sides in this competition, and we know that Loughborough not too far behind them, but let's hope that Sale will be in that kind of territory very, very soon indeed. I can see Carrie Morris is poised with her microphone, hoping to have a word with Katie Daly-McLean, and as soon as Katie is ready and has finished her conversations with her teammates, I'm sure we will have the chance to catch up with her or with Darren Lamont. So please stay with us on Sharks Live for the next couple of minutes or so, as we bring you some instant reaction to this afternoon's win. If you're just joining us, it's finished Sale Sharks 11, Worcester Warriors 0. The try scored this afternoon by the Sale Sharks winger Alex Wallace, and 2 penalties from Katie Daly-McLean backing up that score by Wallace in the first half. But the Sale defensive effort ensuring Worcester were thoroughly shut out. No opportunity for them to get on the scoreboard at all this afternoon. It's all been about Sale, as Sale look to celebrate pitch side. No one seems in a hurry and heading for the dressing rooms, but I can see that Carrie Morris has managed to grab Katie Daly-McLean, and Katie is making her way with Carrie just down in front of Ollie Lathrope and myself now to give her reflections on the afternoon's game. And it'll be great to hear what Katie has to say. And Carrie is with Katie right now. Great to see Katie with us. So we'll hand over to Carrie. We're just sorting out the microphones to get Katie's reaction. And we are ready now to go to Carrie Morris, who is with Katie Daly-McLean.
It's all wrapped. You're gonna... Right. Hi, Katie.
Hiya.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How does the first win in the bag feel?
I think you saw from the girls' reaction, how much it means to everybody at the club, not just the women's side, but the club as a whole. There's been so much work put into this group, and I think to finally put the win to bed is great. Worcester, fair play, all testament, they really stuck in it. But I think our defence won us the game ultimately.
Yeah, the defence was amazing. I was looking at some of the comments on Facebook. Richard Stevens said, cracking defence, keep it up, ladies. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, massively. I think, like we've said, the weather isn't the best today, so it was a wet, miserable night or day. But I think for us, just the kind of tenacity in the defence, it didn't stop. I think sometimes you can start well with defence and then it can kind of peter out. I think, you look at Gwen or Props making big hits still into 65, 70 minutes in this game, and I think for us that is ultimately what really, really got us over the line.
It was a nice birthday present for her as well.
Yeah, yeah. Bloody nose and a win. What more can you want?
Yeah, and I was looking at the comments as well, and you have a big fan base back at home. Even though you can't necessarily hear them, they're definitely there. And how important is it that they keep continuing with that support from home?
Yeah. I mean, it's huge, isn't it? We're in a very privileged position in the fact that we can actually play rugby at the moment. There's a lot of leagues out and nobody's played any rugby, and I think for us it's important that we can really show our support and to try and do that for everybody, and things like that, knowing that people are behind us at sport, a new club, once we get through this and we get out the other side and we can get fans, we are so excited to see people down at this ground, to have people to have that noise, and just to really build a kind of Sharks women's brand.
Yeah, I think as well, Justine Short, a fan, said that she was absolutely buzzing with the Sale win, and she's looking forward to being able to come down and watch from the stand soon. So I think everyone at home is feeling the same way about that.
And it's great, isn't it? Especially for women's sport, for rugby union in the area. We're in a big rugby league area for us to kind of try and build something for young girls to come and aspire to have an opportunity to come and play at such a club that's got such a big history here. It's amazing, and like I say, that win was kind of not just for us, it was for everybody else out there as well today.
Yeah, and you've obviously had a very successful week with the England camp, #1 in the world. Are there any pointers that you brought from the England camp to here?
I think for me it's just about, we want to create a professional environment. You know, we've had girls that have come in for all over and we've all got different experiences, and hopefully kind of my selling point a little bit is just that I have that international background, so the standards that we expect is coaching along with Darren and the other guys is just about really professionalism. You know, a lot of our girls, everybody still works, but actually when they're in sale time and they're in sale kit, we really expect a lot from them, and I think it's really starting to show. You know, we had a tough start to this league, Loughborough, Sarries, Quins, and actually we're finding teams now that we can start to break them down, and I think that's just because of how hard we're training and the work the girls are putting in away from the pitch.
Yeah, so how important is this win in terms of momentum for the club?
Yeah, it is absolutely huge. You know, the kind of the running we've got now. We go to DMP next week, and then I think we have Wasps and Exeter. And for us, we've obviously got games that we're targeting. Today was one of those. And I just think for us, it's been a tough start, like I've said. So actually to get a win, for the girls to enjoy it, to really see the kind of, when you're working so hard, so regularly, in not the best conditions, what we can do, it just really kind of boosts training and morale.
Yeah, definitely. Well done again, and I hope you celebrate well.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Katie Daly-McLean there giving her post-match reaction to our touchline reporter Carrie Morris after Sale Sharks 11 points to 0 victory over the Worcester Warriors here at the Corpacq Stadium. Well, that pretty much concludes our afternoon here on Sharks Live. My thanks to Ollie Lathrope, who's been keeping an eye on the socials throughout the afternoon, Carrie Morris on the touchline, Billy Isles and Katie Hall and Andy Featherston all contributing to our coverage. We hope you've enjoyed it throughout a wet and windy afternoon in South Manchester, but ultimately a victorious one for the Sale Sharks. From all of us here on Sharks Live, we'll see you in a fortnight for Wasps. Good night.